Hi, I'm Dave. My Tazz chipper shredder was just delivered, so I grabbed the GoPro and made this video as I assembled the machine, and then we'll see the first time startup. This is going to be a fun video, so let's get started. The chipper weight is about 120 pounds, so I decided to cut the box apart and assemble it right here in the driveway. The parts are packed in styrofoam and seem to be very well protected. I did take a few minutes to read over the instructions, and it should not take long to assemble this machine. There is a small bag of nuts and bolts, so this magnetic bowl is a good place to keep your hardware, and it'll keep it from getting scattered. Okay, it's 98 degrees this afternoon. I probably should have moved this in the garage. It is very hot today. The first step is to install the kickstand, and it is attached with 4 M8 by 40 bolts, flat washers on each side, and M8 lock nuts. When assembling a part like this one with 4 bolts, I do not tighten the bolts until all of them have been installed, and I just leave the nuts loose. Now the reason if you tighten one bolt without inserting the others, you're probably going to have a difficult time getting the others started. Next, I attach 2 wheels. These are 11-inch never flat rubber wheels. Say that real fast. 11-inch never flat rubber wheels. Anyway, and they're held on the axle with just a flat washer and a cotter pin. A little twist with the pliers, and a cotter pin will not let the wheel fall off. With the stand and wheels assembled, I move the chipper off of the packing material and onto the driveway. Next is to install the chipper cone. There are 3 M8 studs and M8 lock nuts to hold the cone in place. Now I start a nut in the bottom stud, and the cone has a slot that slides under this one at the bottom. There's not a lot of room to access these nuts with a socket, so I'm using a 13mm Gearwrench. Now these 4 M6 nuts need to be loosened for the hopper, and it will slide right under these. The instructions are a little confusing because it says to remove the nuts and the rear stud plate, but the stud plate was never attached to begin with. This is the one that will be attached to secure the hopper. This illustration makes more sense. The sliding damper is placed into the opening. Now this hopper has a bent flange, so I'm using some pliers to straighten it out. The slots on the hopper slide under the 4 bolts that were loosened. The rear stud plate is attached and held in place with 4 M6 lock nuts. I use a 10mm gear wrench to tighten these 8 bolts. The gear wrench is your friend when assembling this Tazz because it's hard to access some of these with a socket wrench. A couple of nuts on the front side. I use the open end of the wrench because it is a tight space to access. Next is the hopper guard. It is attached with 3 M6 by 16 bolts, lock washers, and lock nuts. I tighten these with a 10mm socket and wrench. The handle is mounted with 4 M8 by 20 bolts, and the washers go on the nut side of the bolt. This is the bag support rod. The debris bag or collection bag has loops that slide over the rod, and there is a rotating connector that secures the bag to the chipper. And last, not shown in the assembly instructions, there's a cover for the cone, and it indicates a 3 inches max for the chipper. The machine is assembled, and it was shipped with this 10W30 engine oil. It also came with a funnel, which is necessary to add the oil to the fill hole. Remove the filler cap and dipstick. Insert the funnel. Add the quart of oil. Screw the oil dipstick all the way in. And check the oil level. And that looks good. I'm going to add some fuel. It is recommended to use at least 87 octane with no ethanol. This first start was absolutely amazing. Be sure to watch the clips at the end of this video just to see how amazing this first startup really was. While using this machine, you definitely want to wear hearing protection and safety glasses. A pair of gloves is going to be a good idea also, and you'll see why in my next video what happens if you don't wear gloves. Now the Tazz will dance around a little bit, so it does need to be on stable ground. So that was my experience with the assembly and first startup of the Tazz K33 chipper shredder with a 301cc engine, which is around 20 horsepower. I appreciate your comments and a thumbs up if this was helpful, and please subscribe. Hey, I'm Dave. Have a great day.